Hi there, this is Sahid with New Bloom Solutions. As you know, and the Bloom Show. As you know, the Bloom Show is brought to you to inspire, connect, and innovate the floral industry. And talking about innovation, we have one of the what I consider one of the biggest pioneers of innovation, Alex Frost with FloraBot. Why? Because he's talking about robots, right? What is up with robots in the flower industry? What is up with robots in the future of all industries? We need to face the facts. Robots are a thing. Robots are going to stay. They're no longer just something you see in a movie or a TV show. They're real. Now, let's be curious about robots. Let's find out how we could maybe use them for our production, use them for the floral industry. I have tons of questions for Alex. Please feel free to ask any questions you like. Feel free to just put in right here in the questions. I'll read them as we go. As I imagine you have tons of robots. We have some cool videos to watch as well. We did do some videos today on LinkedIn of a quick snippet of what the machine does, and it's just super exciting. I got to see the machine, the robot. I'll call it robot. Sorry, I bet it takes it personal. I got to see the robot in act, and it was really cool. And there's some great improvements that he's doing to it. And not only that, there's also a flower cooler, a vending machine, kind of like a huge iPad. So to ask any questions, let me introduce him. Help me welcome our guest, Alex Frost from FloraBot. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Sahid, how are you?
How are you? Good, good. Thanks for coming on the show. I know that you're traveling, and right now you're actually in Atlanta, and you're getting back on a flight tonight. So thank you for that. It's an honor to have you, carve out 30 minutes of your time to speak to the flower industry and, again, talk about innovation. As you know, that's my passion and my mission, and not only mine, yours as well. So thank you for being on the show today. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So let's dive right into it, man. How did you get into the flower world? Because I know it's not just FloraBots, but how did you get into the flower world? Tell me about your journey into the wonderful world of flowers.
Well, a lot of people don't know. My family was actually in the flower business for many years. They owned retail flower shops, and we had greenhouses at one time. We even had a little wholesale company about 30, 40 years ago. And so I grew up in that business. I worked in different aspects of it. And then when the family retired and sold off all the stores, I started doing technology work for a lot of my friends in the flower business.
All right. And then when did you go so how many years after? So how did you say, I want to do technology? How did you go from a flower shop and wholesaler to robots and vending machines and all that cool gadgets?
For the last dozen years, we've been doing cloud-based ERP software for a lot of flower companies in the US and Canada, both the retail and the wholesale side. So that's been a lot of fun projects there. In talking to a lot of our customers 2 or 3 years ago, they were all complaining about the labor shortage issues that they were having, especially at the manufacturing level. And we got into a lot of discussions about whether a lot of these tasks could be automated, meaning done by modern robots. And in the old days, robots were these very big machines that made cars. They were dangerous. You had to have a fence around them. They were complicated to program and expensive, a couple $1 million. And now the technology has evolved where they're smaller, they're lighter, they're easier to program, they're safer. They have force sensing in them and light laser safety mechanisms. And people have been starting to use them for different things in manufacturing and retail. So you see the news articles about robots flipping hamburgers and making coffee, and things like that. And they're all amusing. So when we started to see that about a couple of years ago, we thought, we actually have a software background, so we know programming, which is half the battle. And it's like, let's jump in here and get some mechanical engineers and see what we can do. And I was really skeptical at first because I grew up in the flower business. I'm like, that's really hard. I don't think you can do that with machines, even with a lot of work. And then after 6 months, I'm like, oh my God, people have no idea what's coming. Literally 5 years from now, 80% of all arrangements will be made by robots because they're so precise, they're so consistent, they can run 24/7, and they have the capability to do things that people can't imagine. So I have a lot of friends in the flower business. They're like, oh my God, that's never going to do a bridal bouquet or boutonniere. I'm like, you have no idea what's coming. And the amazing thing is, once they're properly configured and programmed, the labor savings is dramatic. It's about 75%. So, a typical human operator in a flower shop will take 12, 14, 17 minutes to make a dozen roses in a vase. We can do that in 90 seconds, on an assembly line now. And next year, that will probably be down to 45 seconds. So for big companies like Kroger's, Albertsons, H-E-B, CVS, Walgreens that want to make a lot of arrangements, there's no more need to do them by hand with expensive union labor. If we can set up an automated production line for them and crank out a couple thousand units per hour.
Man, and they're very precise. Then you're saying, right? They put everything where it needs to be, and that's amazing. Are you to the level of hand tying yet?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have robots that tie, knots at surgery these days. So wow. It's not a stretch to have them make a hand lay. We've experimented, having the robot make a lays because we had that request, and sure enough, we can tie those knots. So people underestimate what you can do with them. Especially a lot of my friends in the flower business. They're like, oh, well, never make an AIFD quality arrangement. I'm like, I can knock off anything you can make. It might not be as fast as you can do it sometimes, but the machines can do it 24/7, 365, and no one can keep up with that in terms of productivity or scalability.
And so to go to a little fun question, what was the last flower you purchased and how did you purchase it? So I don't have been from a machine, but yeah. It might have been. What was the last flower you purchased?
I'm always out and about visiting with retailers, and I like to buy the product that they have on the shelf and take it with me, whether it's back to the hotel or home, and really see how long they last. Because I'm always curious about how good their quality control is. So the last arrangement I bought was at Stop and Shop in Boston. It had it on the shelf there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy this, take it home, and see how long it lasts, out of curiosity. So we're always buying things out there just to observe more or less.
Yes, same here. I love to do that as well. So let me go and you kind of already narrowed that down, but in one sentence, if you can, kind of like your tagline, what does your company do?
We basically combine innovative technologies, for the benefit of retailers. So we work on software and software automation tools, cloud-based ERP, live inventory control systems. But now we're combining it with hardware automation, robotic automation, and sales automation, which is automated no-contact coolers. So we're sort of building a technology stack that the retailers can use to sell more product, control quality better in terms of live inventory control and aging, and also get their average order up. Their average order in the supermarket, I think, is about $12.50 or something. And if we can give them the technology to make more sophisticated, high quality arrangements consistently, then they'll be able to move up those averages long term.
And I think also you're helping people scale, because if you think about a brand and then you take that brand to a vending machine, there's that opportunity of expanding your reach without having a storefront. Is that making any sense? Because if you brand a vending machine, is that something that's capable as well? So if I build a strong name for myself in my city, and then all of a sudden I pop up in the tourist attraction area, is that a benefit to the florists and to the floral community?
Absolutely. There's not only the branding aspect, putting that machine in a shopping mall or a hospital gift shop or airport arrival terminals, but a lot of people don't understand how far the software in those machines has progressed. So now you don't have to go to the machine physically to make that purchase. You can just pull up the app on your phone. You can purchase it, and we have delivery integration built into those coolers now. So if you want something delivered at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, you don't have to go down to the machine anymore. You can just order it on your phone, and we'll summon Uber, to go pick it up and deliver those flowers. So people don't understand, the range of capability of those type of smart vending machines that's coming.
So I have a quick video and some pictures. So let me show a quick video of the robot in action. Give me a second here. This is one of my first times doing this. So all right. Can you see it here? There you go. And where's my play button? Sorry about that.
That's all right. It might be in the middle.
There we go. Yeah, it was hiding.
Yeah. So this is a very basic example of how we can program a robot, a collaborative arm, to make a dozen roses in a vase. The robot uses vision, force sensing, motion planning to identify flowers by color, by size, where to grab it, how much force to apply, and then how to put it in a container. It's basically replicating all the human motions using different technologies. And of course, it can do it really fast. So you can queue up that line, to output unlimited units per hour. You're going to not even limit it to one robot. You can have 4 or 5 robots if you need to do thousands per hour. And the great thing is it puts the roses in the exact geometric position where people expect it to be. There's no variation like with human manufacturing and assembly.
Without giving away your secret, just the curiosity in me takes over. How do you translate human to robot? Mm-hmm. How does that happen? If you could share. It's
a good question. Usually we work with the designer first to make what we think is a great arrangement in the regular world. Then we take that arrangement and we start taking it apart and measuring the angles, sort of like reverse engineering. And then we look at the flowers, how much force do we have to apply? Can the vision system see how many thorns and leaves are on there? And then you go through a testing process. So this may take, 10, 20, 30 hours for one arrangement. But once you do it once, it runs forever, consistently. Wow. That's the great thing about it. And this is an example of a multi-robot line, that we've simulated here in the lab in Boston, where, we could do high output, on the assembly line.
And I think that's something people don't know either. The other day I got to talk to you on Zoom and I saw a peep of your lab. And it was cool, man. It was really like just from a science fiction film. And you're like, okay, this is a real deal. He's not running around with this in his little van. He really has a lab set up, and this is a real lab that I look forward to one day visiting, because it will be my first lab experience. You wear trench coats and everything? Just kidding. Just kidding. So this here is what I think is pretty cool too, in looking at it in a branding way. If you get a floral celebrity or even a celebrity of sorts to brand this is your vending machine. Yeah.
For lack of a better description, some people call them smart coolers, vending machines, no contact sales. There isn't really an established name for them. What's happening is, software technology and automation technology is starting to merge and progress. And we didn't invent flower vending machines. They've been in Europe, in Asia, and even in the US for 20, 30 years. But they've been very basic machines that only had limited functionality. And they weren't very stylish. They're really industrial looking and not really nice. So we wanted to take some modern industrial design, and combine that with high power software, omni-channel software, and live inventory control and sensors, so that, of course, we want to maintain the optimal temperature and humidity and lighting in our coolers. And we're also working on another one just for plants. Some people are interested in selling just plants and succulents and gardens.
Great idea.
Yeah, they want to put them in major office buildings, where they already have a presence. But this is an example of a unit that's in a shopping mall, and most flower shops can't pay the rent in a shopping mall. It's just so high. But if you have the ability to put in a no contact cooler, that's an extension of your brand, like you said, and you could move, $5, $10, $15,000 or $20,000 a month in product with minimal labor, and keep your fixed costs low. Obviously, there's no labor involved except restocking the machine, and you also have very low fixed costs in terms of rental costs and utilities and things like that.
And I imagine that it does, unless you already mentioned it, it tells you your inventory. So it'll tell you when something's sold, and it will tell you what particular zone it was sold or things like that?
Absolutely. We keep track of each compartment, when the product is placed in there, when it needs to be aged out, when it's actually removed from the compartment with weight sensors and motion sensors, so that the operator knows when to restock them. So we think these kind of machines are ideal for mass market. For the supermarkets, Target, CVS, Walgreens, we're working on some smaller ones for them. And at the end of the day, we want to sell a better product, higher quality product, at a lower price, so we can give consumers more value. And because if we can get, a mass market operator to reduce their price of an arrangement from $70, down to $30 because there's no more labor in the process, then that's a good thing. People will buy more flowers. That's what we want. Yeah. We want people buying more flowers more often.
Exactly. And it's just super cool, man. The laptop of the iPad of flower industry. That's the way I see it. It's just, the technology is crazy. So questions here. Do you think robots will ever replace flower designers?
They're not going to replace the creativity of a human. They're not that good yet. There are people working on AI and machine learning, and we've also started experimenting with that ourselves, trying to see if we can teach it color harmony and shapes to actually make arrangements. So we put in like 4,000 flower varieties, the colors, and then we told it, all right, this is what good color harmony is, to see if it could figure it out before it actually started to assemble anything. Was the software smart enough to do that? And the answer is yes. So that day is coming. It'll never be 100% creative like a human. But can we teach it to do like pave style and garden style and different geometric shapes and sizes and styles? Absolutely. As long as we program it in advance, it can do those things.
Yeah, I think that, God, the mechanics of it is what would be impressive to see. What happens with the mechanic, that little piece of moss that needs to cover the chicken wire, and especially with the big pieces that are happening now, I wonder how a robot could take that on. So that's an interesting challenge for you, for you as well. But hey, we never thought that there would be hoverboards, and there's hoverboards. We never thought that we would be doing this. So I'm not letting anything out of the table, but God bless the florists, right? keep on keeping it up. Why would people buy flowers from a vending machine?
Well, a lot of flower shops have what we call banker's hours. 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. They're open limited hours on Saturday, and we're entering the on-demand economy. People want it when they want it, not when you want to sell it. So to have machines that can provide the product 24/7, whether on a pickup basis or on a delivery basis via Uber, that's very attractive to a lot of different industries. It's not just the floral industry. We're starting to see it in a lot of retail verticals now. What we're doing is obviously maintaining the quality control aspect from a cooling aspect for fresh flowers, so that it has optimal temperature, humidity, and for plants, optimal lighting too. And trying to empower the retailers to do that. So when you walk up to the supermarket, you'll see the red box machine, and hopefully you'll see, a Bloomhouse machine down a few years down the line, so that they can have more tools, to make more sales, more hours of the day.
Yeah, and going back to about the florists, I think that if the florists think of this as an addition to their business, it's an opportunity to open up business as well, to scale their business. So that's one thing I want to say as well. That florists, don't think we're coming after you. I think that if you bring in technology into your business model, there's a lot of opportunity for you to scale. You don't need a shop. You have one shop, and then you have these small or a couple of these vending machines. You're actually expanding yourself. So that's something I really like about the potential of helping small florists reach, right, and build their brand. And what is going to take to make Americans buy more fresh flowers? That's a great question. That's a great question.
Yeah, we have to be able, the retailers have to be able to deliver better value. And then the question is, how do you define value? Vase life, better quality control, better designs in terms of color harmony and geometry, and better price points. If the flowers are more affordable, people are going to buy more flowers more often. And that helps everyone in the supply chain. So that we want to use that automation technology to try and lower those price points so that consumers have more value, and that will expand the market organically for everyone. I'm not pessimistic about the flower business. I believe the best days are ahead of it, in terms of the size of the market, that once it becomes a lifestyle product like gourmet coffee has now, Starbucks, 20, 30 years ago, if someone said Americans are going to pay $4 for a cup of coffee, I would have said, you're absolutely nuts. That's not going to happen. We get coffee from 7-Eleven and McDonald's, and then comes a new retailer with better branding, better quality, and it becomes really a lifestyle trend in the US. And we're starting to see the beginnings of that with the mass market, selling billions of dollars of product. And then we have a few other companies shipping product in boxes. And of course, we have 14,000 retailers on the ground selling product too. But I still think that the market is a lot larger, can be a lot larger than it is now. Definitely can grow by a factor of 2 or 3 if we can resolve the quality control and deliver better value.
Gotcha. And then Karen Jones, thank you, Karen, for asking a question. It's a little loaded, but it's a good one. It's an awesome question. So you want and I have to go all the way, but so you want florists to reduce their fees for design, but who pays the Uber bill? And do you trust an Uber driver to deliver a delicate arrangement to a client? Only see this. Sorry, I need my reading glasses. Of manufacturing for typical easy designs that someone needs ASAP as an urgent generic purchase. And I'll also go for the other question as well, Karen. But thank you for that, Karen. That's awesome.
I used to think the same thing, that it would only apply to basic designs, and I was totally wrong. The level of sophistication with robots allows it to make very complex designs, and it learns from its behavior in terms of how it grabs stems, how it places stems, and color harmony. So you'll be amazed at the capability. In terms of Uber, we tested Uber delivery in Los Angeles a couple of years ago with one large flower shop. Every order was delivered and dispatched by Uber. The average delivery time was under 45 minutes, and it cost half as much as it cost that flower shop to put a truck and driver on the road, because Uber goes one way. They never have to come back. And people really were amazed at how fast we could deliver flowers in that example. So people want it faster and hopefully at less delivery fees than they pay now. And that's what Uber and Lyft and these other crowdsourcing delivery services allow retailers to do. Again, not limited to florists. If you call other retailers like Coach, and you want a handbag, they will dispatch it for you with crowdsourced delivery as long as you pay the fee.
Yeah, and then Karen says, funny question, but does the machine write the cards as well? There's actually a machine for that, but I don't think FloraBot does that. But go ahead.
It's a good question. Obviously, most florists have printers that print cards these days, so I can see it handwriting cards one day.
And again, just everybody out there, think about it can maybe work for you, right? And that's the way that we start getting away from competition and start creating collaboration. And that's what I really think is, how do we use these technologies to help us scale? How do we use these technologies in a smaller manner? Maybe you have it in your shop in a small system wise, because technology gets cheaper as you go, right? So it might be scary now or judgmental on it now, but maybe in the future it goes into a floor shop and it's helping you pop out these things left and right. Is that something that you have in your future of smaller systems for a flower shop?
Most definitely. I mean, florists are creative people. They don't want to do the same thing over. Yeah. They didn't sign up for a factory job. So if we can give them a machine that does a lot of the simple designs, and then they focus their energy on the really complex designs, weddings and events and funerals, then that's a good combination down the road.
And also florists are craftsmen, right? They're artists. So that's also to always be given a credit. And I see a small machine, like you said, doing the small stuff, popping up those boutonnieres and just running them out, boom, 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 and selling at mass, and then, build a website and sell them on Amazon. And now you have big numbers, but just always think ahead, always think big. But Alex, thank you so much for your time. My final question, I have two questions. One is, if you're looking to network with anybody, who would it be? What industry, any particular person or company, who would it be, just as a shout out there?
We're really focusing a lot of the technology for the mass market these days, large supermarket chains and discount retailers that want to optimize and better control their quality when it comes to floral arrangements.
Fantastic. Great. So any supermarkets, mass market people out there, reach out to Alex. And then final question is, if you were to ask one question to the flower industry to challenge them to ask themselves this year, what would it be?
To a lot of my florist friends, I say never say no. Find a way to say yes when people call you, depending on what they want or how fast they want it delivered. We have to be in the service business. Otherwise, there's too much competition for gifts out there. Amazon is delivering things within 2 hours for free, and people can get a very nice cheesecake these days for $30 delivered 2 hours almost anywhere in the country. So there's lots of competition out there. So you have to be very flexible with your customers and try and always accommodate them whenever possible.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alex. Thanks for your time, man. Enjoy your flight back, and thank you again for making time for us today. Truly appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sahid.
Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, sorry. Wait. Say it again, Alex. Say bye to everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Sahid.
I cut you off. Take care. How can people get in touch with you?
Just reach out on LinkedIn or go to our website, flora.bot, and you'll find a form there, and you can reach out to us. So here it is, flora.bot. Pretty cool URL. So congratulations on that. All right, take care. Thank you for your time. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. So everybody, thank you again. As I say on the show all the time, be curious, not judgmental. How can it work for you? How can it work for the industry? What can't work? We get it. But the roadblocks are not going to help. How do we break those roadblocks and see how technology in the future could work for us? Again, this entire month we've done Innovation Month, where we're on LinkedIn. We're posting a lot of things on innovation, a lot of tips on innovation, a lot of opportunities that we see out there, talking a lot about startups as well. So we're really excited about that. Next week, we're having Bloomy Pro. If you're a florist, tune in to Bloomy Pro for sure. Bloomy Pro is a technology which allows florists, as an app or even on a website,
to create floral arrangements using real flowers, but in a virtual way. So it's really amazing what they're doing. They're actually in conversations with a lot of other technologies as well. And it gives florists the opportunity to save on samples. It gives florists opportunity to learn. So there's so much to do with Bloomy Pro. So it's super exciting. So next week, tune in to watch Bloomy Pro as we will have them on. And again, connect with us, subscribe, share, and like somewhere there. Subscribe, share, and like, and comment. And thank you again for commenting today. Truly appreciate it. Thank you, Karen Jones. Appreciate you for commenting. She was saying thank you. So again, everybody, thank you for your time. See you next week. And let me find this stuff here. See you next week. And thank you for everything. And take care. Bye-bye.